The massive Imperial ships glided through Earth's solar system like crystal giants against the backdrop of stars. Admiral Jinwoo Park kept his hands clasped behind his back as he studied the holographic display at United Earth Command. His weathered face reflected the blue glow of dozens of screens showing the alien vessel's approach. Earth's most advanced ships looked like children's toys compared to the Imperial fleet. Each crystalline vessel stretched over 5 kilometers in length, their surfaces catching and refracting sunlight in mesmerizing patterns. The flagship alone could have housed a small city within its gleaming hull. "Sir, they're hailing us," reported Lieutenant Song, her fingers dancing across the control panel. "The Imperial ambassador requests immediate diplomatic contact." Park nodded slowly. "Accept the transmission. Let's see what our visitors have to say." The holographic display shifted, revealing the imposing figure of Ambassador Krath. The alien stood nearly 3 meters tall, with iridescent purple skin that seemed to shimmer as he moved. His 4 eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern as he regarded the humans before him. "Greetings, representatives of Earth." Krath's voice carried artificial warmth that didn't reach his eyes. "The Galactic Empire has chosen to make official contact with your world." Park stepped forward. "Ambassador, we welcome peaceful contact with the Empire. I am Admiral Jinwoo Park, representing the United Earth Council." Krath's upper lip curled slightly. "Yes, we have been observing your civilization for some time. Your recent attempts at space travel caught our attention, primitive though they may be." The Admiral's jaw tightened, but his voice remained steady. "We are a young spacefaring species, but we learn quickly." "Indeed." Krath's tone dripped with condescension. "Our scans show you have barely mastered basic fusion technology. Your ships still rely on chemical propulsion for most operations. Even our most distant colonial outposts surpassed this level centuries ago." Around the command center, human officers exchanged glances. Park noticed Lieutenant Song's hands clenching into fists beneath her console, but she maintained her professional demeanor. The ambassador continued his assessment of Earth's technology, each word carefully chosen to emphasize humanity's shortcomings. He examined reports of Earth's industrial capacity, energy production, and military capabilities with the air of someone inspecting an inferior product. "Your species is centuries behind even our most primitive colonies," Krath declared, examining Earth's technological offerings with thinly veiled contempt. "Though I suppose that is to be expected from a world so far from the galactic core." Park allowed himself a small smile. "Perhaps, but we have other qualities that make up for our technological limitations." "Such as?" Krath seemed genuinely amused. "Determination, creativity, the ability to overcome seemingly impossible odds." The ambassador's laughter echoed through the command center. "Admiral, those are the typical claims of every primitive species we encounter. None of them matter without the technological base to support them." Park noticed Dr. Kim's message flashing on his private screen. "Project Quantum Leap successful. Full deployment ready." His smile widened slightly. "The Empire extends its protection to Earth," Krath announced grandly, "in exchange for certain resource considerations and acknowledgement of Imperial authority, of course. The alternative would be unfortunate." "We will need time to consider your offer," Park replied carefully. "Our global council must be consulted." Of course." Krath waved a hand dismissively. "Take all the time you need to realize you have no choice. We will remain in orbit to await your inevitable decision." As the transmission ended, Lieutenant Song spoke up. "Sir, they're moving their ships into position around Earth. Standard Imperial intimidation pattern, according to the data we've gathered." Park nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Let them think they have us cornered. Sometimes, Lieutenant, the best advantage is when your opponent underestimates you completely." He turned to address the command center. "Send word to all stations. Begin preparations for Operation Quantum Strike. Let's show our Imperial friends that humanity has a few surprises in store." As the officers rushed to comply with his orders, Park looked back at the holographic display showing the Imperial ships. They hung in orbit like giant predators, unaware that their prey had teeth of its own. The next few days would change the galaxy's understanding of humanity forever. The wind howled across the Antarctic surface, but 3 kilometers beneath the ice, Dr. Hae-Nul Kim barely noticed the storm. She stood in the heart of humanity's most secret facility, surrounded by humming quantum computers and gleaming test chambers. The air crackled with energy as another successful teleportation test completed. "Transfer stable, Doctor," reported her assistant, checking the readings. The test subject arrived perfectly intact. Hae-Nul watched as the small white rabbit hopped contentedly in its receiving chamber, showing no signs of distress from being quantum transported across the room. It was their 1,000th successful test, but she still felt the same thrill of achievement she had experienced during their first success. Colonel Tai-Young Lee entered the control room, his military uniform a stark contrast to the scientists' white lab coats. "Dr. Kim, the Empire's ships are positioning themselves around Earth. We need to accelerate our timeline." "The personal teleporters are ready," Hae-Nul assured him, leading him to a sealed section of the facility. "We've managed to miniaturize the technology into something our soldiers can wear." The storage room contained rows of sleek silver devices, each no larger than a backpack. Every unit represented thousands of hours of research and countless failed attempts. Hae-Nul remembered the early days when they couldn't transport anything larger than a molecule without it disintegrating. "Our teams have been training with the prototypes," Colonel Lee said, examining one of the devices. "The success rate is remarkable, though I still can't quite believe we managed to crack quantum teleportation before the Empire." Hae-Nul smiled. "That's because they never thought to approach it from our angle. They're so focused on conventional space travel that they dismissed quantum tunneling as impossible for living beings." The facility's alarm system suddenly flashed red. "Imperial scan detected," announced the automated system, activating quantum shielding. Everyone froze, watching the security displays. The Empire's scanning beam passed harmlessly over their location, detecting nothing but solid ice. Hae-Nul released her breath slowly. Their shielding technology, another breakthrough born of necessity, had held once again. "We have one chance at this," Hae-Nul told her team as they resumed work on perfecting the personal teleporters. "The Empire's arrogance will be their downfall." Colonel Lee nodded. "Operation Quantum Strike starts in 48 hours. Each teleporter needs to be perfect. We won't get a second attempt." The scientists worked through the night, running final diagnostics and calibrating each device. Hae-Nul personally checked every unit, remembering the lives that would depend on their reliability. The weight of humanity's future pressed down on her more heavily than the kilometers of ice above. In the testing chamber, soldiers practiced materializing in precise formations. The teleporters allowed them to appear anywhere within a 50,000-kilometer radius, more than enough range to reach the Imperial fleet in orbit. "Dr. Kim," called one of her team members, "the neural interface synchronization is complete. The targeting systems are now responding to thought commands with zero delay." Hae-Nul reviewed the data, making minor adjustments. The Empire believed humans were centuries away from this level of technology. Their dismissal of Earth as a primitive backwater had allowed this project to proceed in complete secrecy. Colonel Lee received a message from United Earth Command. "Admiral Park reports the Empire is getting impatient. They're demanding an answer about Earth's submission within 24 hours. "Perfect timing," Hae-Nul replied, initiating the final production sequence. "The teleporters will all be ready by then. 5,000 units, each capable of transporting a fully equipped soldier instantly through quantum space." She walked through the rows of completed devices, remembering the day 3 years ago, when she'd first theorized this approach to quantum teleportation. The Empire's scientists had declared it impossible, but they had never considered combining quantum entanglement with human consciousness in quite this way. "When this works," Colonel Lee said quietly, "it will change everything. Not just for Earth, but for every species the Empire has subjugated. Hanul looked at her team, seeing the same mix of determination and nervous excitement on every face. The Empire thinks they know humanity's limits, she said. They're about to learn how wrong they are. In the depths of Antarctica, humanity's secret weapon waited. Soon, the Empire would discover that technological progress didn't always follow their predetermined path. Sometimes, the most significant breakthroughs came from those they considered least capable of achieving them. Dawn broke over Earth's horizon as Admiral Park stood in the Global Command Center. The holographic displays showed all 100 Imperial ships still in position, their crews confident in their superiority. He checked his chronometer one final time. All teams, synchronize quantum coordinates, he ordered through the secure channel. Prepare for simultaneous insertion on my mark. 5,000 soldiers waited in bases around the world, each wearing one of Dr. Kim's teleporters. Lieutenant Sun Hai Kang adjusted her device's settings as she stood with her strike team. Their target was the Imperial flagship itself, where Ambassador Krath waited for Earth's surrender. Strike teams ready, Colonel Lee reported from Antarctic Command. Quantum signatures locked on all targets. Admiral Park took a deep breath. Operation Quantum Strike begins in 3, 2, 1. Execute. In an instant, the universe seemed to fold around Sun Hai. The quantum teleporter activated, and reality blurred. When it snapped back into focus, she stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship, her team materializing perfectly in their planned positions. The Imperial crew froze in shock. Before they could reach their weapons, Sun Hai's team had control of every critical station. Similar scenes played out across the entire fleet as human forces appeared simultaneously on every ship. Impossible, Krath exclaimed, rising from his command chair. His 4 eyes widened in disbelief as human soldiers secured the bridge. How did you? Ambassador, Sun Hai said, her weapon trained steadily on him. I suggest you remain still. The bridge is under our control. Reports flooded in from across the fleet. Engineering secured. Weapons systems locked down. Command deck captured. Ship after ship fell to the precisely coordinated quantum insertion teams. All ships reporting successful deployment. Colonel Lee's voice came through Sun Hai's communicator. No casualties on either side. Complete tactical surprise achieved. Krath sank back into his chair, his purple skin paling to a lighter shade. Quantum teleportation of living beings. But our scientists proved it was impossible. Apparently not, Sun Hai replied, allowing herself a small smile. Humanity just had a different approach to solving the problem. Through the bridge windows, she could see other Imperial ships, now under human control. The operation had taken less than 5 minutes from start to finish. Admiral Park sends his regards, she told Krath. He suggests we discuss new terms for our relationship with the Empire. The automated defense systems, the supposedly impenetrable shields, the advanced weapons, none of them had mattered. The Empire had never considered the possibility of an enemy appearing instantly inside their ships. Security teams report all resistance has ceased, Colonel Lee announced across the fleet-wide channel. The Empire's forces are standing down. Sun Hai watched as realization dawned in Krath's eyes. The Empire had expected to find a primitive species ready for conquest. Instead, they had underestimated humanity's capacity for innovation and determination. Your species, Krath said slowly, you achieved this level of technology while we were watching. We achieved it because you were watching. Sun Hai corrected. Your presence motivated us to find solutions you thought impossible. Admiral Park's hologram appeared on the bridge. Ambassador Krath, I believe it's time to renegotiate the terms of our relationship. As equals. Throughout the fleet, human forces began securing databases and downloading Imperial technology. What had started as an invasion had become the greatest technological acquisition in Earth's history. Earth Command reports the operation is complete. Colonel Lee's voice came through again. All major cities are safe. The Empire's fleet is under our control. Sun Hai looked out at Earth below. beautiful and blue in the morning light. In a single stroke, humanity had proven itself far more capable than the Empire had imagined. "Your arrogance was your weakness," she told Kraft. "You were so certain of our limitations that you never considered we might surpass them." The news spread across Earth as people emerged from shelter to find the Imperial ships still overhead, but now under human control. The shadows of the vessels no longer brought fear, but pride in humanity's achievement. Admiral Park's final transmission echoed through the fleet. "To all teams, excellent work. Today marks humanity's entry onto the galactic stage, not as servants or subjects, but as equals." The Empire's calculations about Earth were correct in only one way. Everything is about to change. The captured Imperial ships filled Earth's orbital shipyards, their crystalline hulls reflecting sunlight as teams of engineers swarmed over them. In the main research facility, Dr. Hae-Nul Kim leaned over a holographic display with Chief Engineer Dong-Hyun Choi, examining the complex integration of human and Imperial technology. "The quantum matrix is stable," Dong-Hyun reported, adjusting several parameters. "We've successfully merged the teleportation system with the Imperial power core." Before them floated a detailed projection of their greatest achievement, the ETS Hawking. The massive vessel combined the best of both worlds, Imperial energy systems and structural technology, merged with human quantum teleportation innovations. "Another successful test," Dr. Kim noted, watching as the diagnostic data streamed across her screens. "The ship can now teleport itself and maintain structural integrity." Teams of workers moved through the facility, carrying components and running tests. What had once been humanity's most secret project was now the center of a technological revolution. "The power requirements are 30% lower than our initial estimates," Dong-Hyun said, pride evident in his voice. "We can teleport the entire ship multiple times without straining the systems." Admiral Park entered the control room, his eyes fixed on the massive vessel visible through the observation windows. "How long until the Hawking is ready for its first full demonstration?" "We can begin now," Dr. Kim replied. "All systems are showing green. The crew has completed their training with the hybrid controls." The Admiral nodded, and soon the facility burst into activity. The Hawking's crew took their positions while observers from Earth's various nations gathered in the control center. "Hawking Actual, this is Control," Dong-Hyun announced. "You are cleared to begin demonstration sequence." The massive battleship hummed to life. Its Imperial engines glowed with familiar blue energy, but now quantum particles danced around the hull, a visible sign of the human innovations within. "Initiating first jump," the Hawking's captain reported. "Coordinates locked on Mars orbit." In an instant, the kilometer-long vessel vanished. Seconds later, confirmation came from the Mars observation posts. The Hawking had appeared perfectly positioned in high orbit around the red planet. "Jump successful," Dr. Kim announced, checking the data. "All systems nominal. Structural integrity at 100%. Before the observers could fully process this achievement, another report came in. "Second jump initiated. Target: Jupiter's orbit." Again, the ship vanished, reappearing near the giant planet's swirling clouds. In the space of minutes, the Hawking demonstrated more mobility than any Imperial vessel had ever achieved. "The Empire's greatest mistake," Admiral Park noted as he watched the displays, "was assuming technological progress follows only one path." Dr. Kim smiled, remembering the dismissive attitude of Imperial scientists toward human innovation. Now, barely 3 months after capturing the Imperial fleet, humanity had revolutionized space travel. "Final test," Dong-Hyun announced. "Multiple sequential jumps with weapons active." The Hawking performed a series of rapid teleports, appearing at different points throughout the solar system. At each location, it fired its modified Imperial weapons before jumping again, a demonstration that would have been impossible with conventional space travel. "Combat capability confirmed," the weapons officer reported. "We can engage targets from any vector instantly." In the control room, the observers watched in amazement. Military officers from various nations exchanged meaningful glances, understanding the implications for Earth's defense. Begin production of 5 more vessels, Admiral Park ordered. The Empire needs to understand that their technology gap is closed permanently. Dr. Kim and Dong-hyun immediately started preparing the construction blueprints. The hybrid technology would transform not just military vessels, but civilian ships as well. Space exploration would never be the same. The quantum integration principles can be applied to their other systems too, Dr. Kim explained. Their sensors, their shields, everything can be enhanced with our approach. As the Hawking made its final jump back to Earth orbit, its success represented more than just a technological achievement. It showed that humanity's different perspective on physics and technology could create something entirely new. Send the test data to all our development centers, Admiral Park instructed. Every nation should begin working with these hybrid systems. Earth's future depends on our ability to maintain this advantage. The observers departed, carrying reports that would change their nation's entire approach to space technology. The age of conventional space travel was ending, and humanity had taken its first steps into a new era of exploration and defense. Through the windows, the Hawking gleamed in orbit, a testament to what humans could achieve when challenged. The Empire had meant to conquer Earth. Instead, they had sparked a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. The warning came from Earth's deep space sensors. 3,000 Imperial warships emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, their crystalline hulls forming a vast wall of light against the darkness. Colonel Lee stood in Earth Defense Command, watching the tactical display as the massive armada approached. All teleporting vessels, move to defensive positions, he ordered. Prepare for combat jumps on my mark. Captain Sun Haikang stood on the bridge of the ETS Hawking, her crew ready for battle. Earth's fleet of 20 hybrid ships seemed tiny compared to the Imperial force, but numbers didn't tell the whole story. Imperial broadcast incoming, the communications officer announced. Admiral Xar of the Empire demands our immediate surrender. The Imperial Admiral's image appeared on their screens. Your theft of Imperial technology will not go unpunished. Surrender now, and we may spare your major cities. Colonel Lee's response was simple. All ships, execute combat pattern Alpha. Earth's fleet vanished simultaneously. The Imperial vessels opened fire, but their weapons hit empty space. The human ships reappeared behind the Imperial formation, their modified weapons striking with deadly precision before vanishing again. Multiple targets disabled. Sun Hai reported as the Hawking jumped to its next attack position. Their shields can't adapt to our quantum-enhanced weapons. The Imperial fleet tried to maintain formation, but Earth's ships appeared and disappeared faster than they could track. Traditional space combat tactics proved useless against opponents who could instantly relocate anywhere within the solar system. Enemy fleet is dividing to protect their flanks, Colonel Lee observed. Just as we predicted. Captain Kang, your team is clear to begin Operation Checkmate. Sun Hai led her strike team to the Hawking's teleportation chamber. They had trained for this moment, knowing it could decide the battle's outcome. Quantum signatures locked on Imperial command ship, the teleportation officer confirmed. Strike team ready for insertion. In a flash, Sun Hai and her team materialized on the Imperial flagship's bridge. The scene mirrored their first capture of Krath's vessel, but this time the Imperial crew was better prepared. Energy weapons flashed as the bridge crew responded to the intrusion. Sun Hai's team moved with practiced precision, their own weapons modified with quantum technology that bypassed Imperial shields. Admiral Xar, Sun Hai called out as her team secured the bridge. I suggest you order your fleet to stand down. The Imperial Admiral stood defiantly. You think capturing one ship will stop this assault? The Empire will never. His words cut off as more reports flooded in. Earth's ships had teleported boarding teams throughout the Imperial fleet, capturing key vessels in coordinated strikes. Sir, his tactical officer reported, we're losing control of the fleet. Human forces are appearing on all command ships simultaneously. Outside the flagship's windows, the battle continued to unfold. Imperial ships fired at positions where Earth vessels had been seconds before, while precision strikes disabled their weapons and engines. "Impossible," Admiral Carr whispered, watching his mighty armada fall into chaos. "No species has ever." "That was your mistake," Sun He replied, assuming that because something hadn't been done, it couldn't be done. Throughout the solar system, the news spread. Humanity hadn't just survived the Empire's counterattack, they had completely outmaneuvered it. The supposedly invincible Imperial fleet was being systematically disabled and captured. Colonel Lee's voice came through on all channels. "All ships report success. 80% of Imperial vessels are now under our control. The remainder are retreating." On worlds across the galaxy, subjugated species received the news with growing hope. The Empire's military superiority, maintained for centuries through technological dominance, had been broken by a species they had dismissed as primitive. "Your Empire made a crucial error," Sun Hai told the captured admiral. "You thought technological progress could only follow your path. You never considered that a different perspective might find solutions you thought impossible." The battle ended not with the destruction of either fleet, but with the capture of most Imperial vessels. Earth's teleporting ships had changed the nature of space combat itself. As the sun rose over Earth once again, humanity's position in the galaxy had been transformed. No longer were they seen as a primitive species lucky enough to capture a few ships. They had proven themselves capable of defeating the Empire's strongest fleet through innovation and tactical brilliance. Colonel Lee's final battle report would be remembered throughout the galaxy. Today marks not just a victory for Earth, but a revolution in warfare. The Empire's assumption of superiority led them to ignore possibilities that seemed impossible by their standards. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology. It was our ability to imagine solutions others thought couldn't exist. The neutral meeting ground was a space station orbiting Jupiter's moon Europa. Its crystal halls contained representatives from 100 worlds, all gathering to witness something unprecedented, the Empire negotiating as equals. Admiral Park walked confidently through the station's main chamber, Earth's delegation following behind him. Dr. Hae-Nul Kim and Chief Engineer Dong-Hyun Choi accompanied him, their presence a symbol of human innovation. Through the vast windows, both Imperial and Earth ships maintained their positions, their quantum-enhanced hulls gleaming in the sunlight. Krath waited at the negotiation table, his purple skin now marked with the silver stripes of a senior diplomatic rank. His expression showed none of the contempt from their first meeting. "Admiral Park," he greeted, rising from his seat. "Earth's achievements have impressed even our most skeptical councils." "Amazing what a species can do when underestimated," Park replied with a slight smile. The station's grand chamber filled with delegates. Representatives from worlds long dominated by the Empire watched with intense interest. Many had already approached Earth's delegation, seeking to learn about the quantum teleportation technology that had changed the balance of power. "The terms are simple," Park began. "Earth will share its quantum teleportation technology with the Empire. In exchange, all Imperial colonies gain the right to self-governance." Dr. Kim opened a holographic display, showing the technical specifications they were willing to share. The Imperial scientists present leaned forward, their eyes wide as they finally understood the elegant simplicity of Earth's solution. "Your approach to quantum mechanics," one Imperial scientist admitted, "it's so different from our standard models. We never considered combining consciousness integration with quantum tunneling." "Perhaps," Krath said, studying the documents, "we should have looked more closely at what made your species unique, rather than focusing on what you lacked." The treaty signing proceeded smoothly. Section by section, the document formalized a new relationship between Earth and the Empire. No longer would humanity be seen as primitive or inferior. "This marks the beginning of true galactic cooperation," Park announced to the assembled delegates, "not through conquest or dominance, but through shared innovation and mutual respect." Throughout the station, screens showed the ceremony to billions across the galaxy. The story of humanity's rise from dismissed primitive species to technological innovators had captured imaginations everywhere. Dr. Kim, Krath addressed her directly. Your discovery changed more than just space travel. It showed us that progress doesn't always follow expected paths. Hey Newell nodded, remembering the long nights in the Antarctic facility. Innovation often comes from asking different questions, not just seeking better answers to old ones. As the final signatures were added to the treaty, cheers erupted throughout the station. Representatives from former Imperial colonies approached the Earth delegation, eager to establish their own diplomatic relations. Admiral, a young delegate from a distant world, asked, "Will Earth help other species develop their own unique technologies?" "That's our next step," Park replied. "A galactic community of equals, each contributing their own perspectives and innovations." The view from the station's windows showed both fleets together, Imperial ships and Earth vessels, their quantum-enhanced systems now compatible and complementary. It was a powerful symbol of the changes to come. "The galaxy enters a new age," Krath announced in his closing speech, "one where strength lies not in dominance, but in diversity of thought and approach." As the ceremony concluded, Dr. Kim stood with her colleagues, watching the gathered species mingling and sharing ideas. Their quantum teleportation discovery had done more than just advanced technology. It had opened minds throughout the galaxy. "Remember this day," Admiral Park told his team, "not just as Earth's victory, but as the beginning of true galactic cooperation." The story of humanity's rise became legend throughout the galaxy, a reminder that true strength lies not in military might alone, but in the power of human ingenuity and the courage to stand against overwhelming odds. As the delegates departed the station, each carried with them a new understanding that the greatest discoveries often come from those deemed least likely to make them. Earth had earned its place among the stars, not through conquest, but through innovation and determination. The human spirit of discovery and determination had proven to be their greatest asset, reminding everyone that appearances could be deceiving and that innovation often comes from unexpected places.